everybody. I'm Clarice. Nice to meet you for the ones that I haven't met. I'm a chiropractor assistant here at Welcome to Wellness for a little while. And a really great benefit from it is I get to learn all this fun information and how it benefits our health. A really nice part about what I get to do on a daily basis is I get to see and have the opportunity to see how all of you guys take control of your health. And it's very inspiring to see. The body has the ability to heal itself, and our job is to remove the interference so we can allow the body to build its best health. That's why we have these workshops to kind of empower you guys and give you guys the information you need to reach your goals. Today we're going to be hearing from our very own Dr. Emmer. She's going to be giving us her knowledge on Detox. She's been working here as a chiropractor for about 8 years now, and as you'll see yourself, she's very passionate about health and living her life by the 5 fundamentals. So please help me welcome Dr. Emmer.
I love when somebody else brings for me, that's all. Okay, so everyone, thanks so much for coming out tonight. I didn't get to personally say hi to everyone, but I will at the end. I really appreciate you taking time on Tuesday evening to be here. You've obviously made a decision to be committed to your health, which is why you're here. And I love that because this is exactly the way we want, to establish healthcare in communities. If you look at all the stats out there, people are getting sicker as a population rather than getting healthier. So give yourself a round of applause for being here. Thanks everybody. The next thing is I want this to be very interactive. So if you guys have questions, comments, if you want to just butt in, you can go ahead. Just share your feedback because it's always, I learn things at these seminars, so I love that. Those are my 2 kids, and they're the reason that I come to work every day. I want everyone to be as healthy, knock on wood, as they are. So that's why we do these events, because we want to share this information with as many people as possible. Just ignore that toxic cake that they're eating right now. Right? I'm like, oh, I should black that out or something. Okay, so this is our mission. We want to empower longer, healthier lives through chiropractic care and integration of the 5 fundamentals. Most of you are patients here or are scheduled to have your checkups, and you understand what true health is. Does anyone want to go and tell me the definition of what health actually is? How do you guys define health? Who wants to speak up? Who feels brave right now? Does anyone want to? Anybody? So this is Dave here from Essence. He's going to be speaking soon. So yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I mean, to me, it depends on your own perspective, right? But to me, good health is waking up and feeling good and being able to accomplish what I want to accomplish in the day. Look in the mirror, feeling like I feel like I'm healthy, and being able to have the energy to do the things that you like to do.
Right.
Being free from illness is a big part.
Yeah.
And I think good health doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
I think it happens because you make good choices. So,
yeah, really agree with you. And you're absolutely right, I agree with all that. It's just sometimes people feel good the day they have a heart attack. Right? So then you're all encompassing. I know you understand what health is, but we can't just base our health on how we feel and how we look, because it's very misleading, right? Mm-hmm. We want to do functional testing, which you know about. So health is your ability to heal, right? So it's in the actual word. So if I ask you what controls of your health and healing, what is it? It's your, I know you guys all know this and you're feeling shy today, so I'm just going to tell you. So it's your nervous system. So that's what we're assessing when you come in for your checkup. When you come in for your adjustments, we're feeling your spine to see how you're functioning, because we truly believe that all of your health comes from the functioning of your central nervous system, right? So that's what we're always checking. So when everything's working the way it should, the brain's communicating with your body parts like it's supposed to, all the cells, organs, and tissues, you're building health, not disease, right? Does that make sense? Now, what happens if there's a blockage, if there's some nerves that are being pinched? What's that? Yeah, you will at some point, but it's affecting your body's ability to be healthy, right? It's creating disease over time and symptoms, right? So then you can't function at your highest capacity, so there's no way you can actually build health. Does that make sense? So how do you even get pinching of nerves in your body? How does that even happen? Subluxation, how does that happen? You guys are like, is this a doctor's report? Right? Okay. Oh, there's a testimonial. I'm sideways, so maybe you guys can just hear me there.
Is it a video?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is just a quick testimonial.
We can check their neck range of motion.
What's that? Yeah. Let's see how well you guys can all bend sideways or lateral flexion. Let's check that out. It's okay if we can't get that going, then we can always show it up. There we go, perfect. We're gonna play it somehow. You guys can close your eyes and just visualize this. Sorry guys. Okay, so I'll let Rebecca pull that up. So I'm gonna ask you so I'm not sure if you've heard this in the past, but I know Dr. Phil and I mentioned this at events. We say that nerve pressure builds up, nerve interference is related to the 3 T's. So what causes nerve interference in the body? So the first one is T, the first T is thoughts, so having negative thoughts, that is gonna cause interference in your nervous system. That's gonna affect your ability to heal. The second T is traumas, so whether that's birth trauma, whether that's, what's the posture like for little kids when they come here? I'm like terrified when I see teenagers, no offense guys, I see teenagers sitting there, oh my god, no, this is horrible. So traumas like that, repetitive trauma, car accidents, kids in sports, we see kids of, like, they're 4 or 5 years old, they're playing hockey, they get checked into the boards and we're like, what is going on? Why are people so angry? So that can cause nerve pressure to build in your spine. The other T is toxins. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay, so is that good to go? Sorry guys. It'll be good, it's worth the wait. You know what, Rebecca, we can just play it at the end because that might take time to load up. So anyhow, that's Anna, and I remember I actually just spoke to her recently and I'm like, I'm using her testimonial. And when she came into our office, she had lost hope. She had been to other chiropractors, she had tried so many things, and she was just like, I feel like giving up. And I remember her saying that to me too, and I was like, I just felt so bad for her. Anyhow, she started care, she's been under care for years now. And she talks about that. She's like, I'm gonna see you forever, right? And we truly believe, whether you come to us or you go anywhere else, that you have to have chiropractic care forever, because there's always things that are causing interference in your body, right? Okay, you're like, let's get to the toxins now. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So there are the 3 T's. And then nerve interference, I just have a little picture there. So you can see that there's nerve pressure here, and that doesn't allow your body to function at its highest capacity or build health. So how many toxins are we actually exposed to on a daily basis? 700,000 to 1.2 million. So does that surprise you guys? Or are you like, isn't that wild? That's pretty scary. And so if you think about it, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you go do? You usually use the wash, the toilet, but you go wash your hands, and then you're using the tap water, it's going all over your face. David knows all about that. Then using the toxic toothpaste, the face wash, you're putting on, and sometimes when I think about this, I'm like, it's a lot, because the clothes that we wear, they're full of toxic chemicals. So the best thing to do is basically minimize toxin exposure and detoxify as much as you can, because you can't avoid them. It's impossible, unfortunately. What's the other thing with toxins? So like genetically modified foods are toxins, and some people say, oh, it's not a big deal, I've been eating them for 20 years. The problem with toxins are they're not really tangible, like you can't see them. So people don't make that correlation, they don't realize how bad they are over their lifetime. So what is a toxin? So substances or chemicals that we encounter on a daily basis that cause damage to humans, whether immediate or over time. So that's just what I said there. So naturally our body is supposed to be able to detoxify, right? Our skin is the first barrier, our liver is involved obviously in the primary detoxification of everything that comes into our body. But what happens is when we're bombarded with toxins all day, our liver can't keep up with that, our body can't keep up with it. So it's, we compare this to a bucket of water. So if I keep putting toxins into a bucket, eventually it'll fill up to the point where your body's like, I can't do this anymore, and there's toxic overload, toxic shock. And that's when things like, a lot of people have gut issues, because if things are not metabolized in the liver, then they go to your gut. Things like leaky gut, IBS, how common are those? It's like it's just like if somebody, it's almost normal if you hear about somebody having leaky gut or IBS issues. You're just like, oh yeah, I had it too once upon a time. So that's a big problem, because what happens over time? Are you getting healthier or sicker when that toxic overload just keeps increasing? So look at everything that's linked to toxins, toxic exposure. So certain types of cancer, neurological problems, joint muscle, what is it? What's not on there? I put that bucket in there so I remember that analogy. So again, we don't wanna become this, and the thing is, how are these treated? It's disease management. We're always talking about get to the cause of the condition, rather than just masking it with, medications and things like that. And, to properly prescribe medications, it causes death in thousands of Canadians in a year. So that's pretty scary, because how much toxic overload is due to that. So toxic hotspots, I should actually use this laser. There you go. Personal care products, household cleaners, plastics, water bottles. It's crazy. Like I don't know about you guys, but if I'm anywhere near a water bottle, I can smell like the toxins. Like I'm like, this is wild. Air, technology, food, overuse of pills. Okay, so here's 5 steps. We're gonna make it really easy. It's super easy, guys. So you cut processed foods, sweat more, check your hormones, stress less, and keep your spine aligned. Just so you know, we're sending you a follow-up email with a lot of information. So I'm going fast, and when I'm excited, I talk like faster than usual. So we'll get this information to you. Okay, so cut processed foods. So I know this looks delicious, but it's not good for you. What's it doing? It's causing a lot of damage inside. It's creating a lot of free radicals that are circulating in your body. Toxins are just circulating everywhere. Where are toxins commonly stored in your body? Does anybody know? Maybe you can't see all the answers.
Your fat.
Yeah, fat cells. So it's very common, like even kids now, you see like the belly, the toxic belly, that's where the fat tends to accumulate. And until you detoxify, it's just gonna keep increasing, just gonna keep going up, because toxins are fat soluble and that's where they wanna stay, right? They're not gonna come out unless you do a detox. So we wanna cut out processed foods. So there's over 10,000 chemicals that are allowed in our food by the FDA. And they're basically saying the amounts are negligible, it's okay, but what about everything that's accumulating over your lifetime, right? And has anything been studied synergistically? Like we're figuring out the long term, there's no way. So I don't wanna take those chances. Most toxic foods, so we already know everything that tastes good is basically toxic, okay guys? So fried foods, packaged, genetically modified foods, anything with artificial flavors, sweeteners. I was just reading about a study where certain artificial colors cause hyperactivity in kids. So, and it makes me sad, because if you go to any store, you see the aisle with snacks, what is it? It's all junk, it's all garbage. And I'm like, it's so hard to find good snacks for my kids. Like, it's disturbing. Artificial sweeteners we know can cause certain types of reproductive cancers, thyroid cancers, genetically modified foods. So we know when we see studies where mice were fed genetically modified foods, they had all sorts of cancers, their babies were not healthy at all. So again, we're eating most of that over our lifetime. It's pretty scary. Okay, so toxic bioaccumulation. So we always say, obviously, start with the meats. You want the cleanest meat, because this chicken is fed antibiotics, and although growth hormones, certain types of hormones are banned in Canada, they're fed a very, very inflammatory diet. So when you're ingesting that meat, it's just accumulating in your body over time. So if you're gonna eat conventional meat, you're better off, I'm not against vegans or anything, but I'm not wow, everybody go vegan, but you're better off not eating that meat, because again, that toxic load is huge. So we will still say start with cleaning your meats, grass-fed, organic as much as possible. We'll send you this in the email and where you can find it as well. So you guys are familiar with this. We've talked about this many times. So environmental working group, Dirty 12. So these are the things that you should buy organic. They usually have a thin peel. Those are heavily concentrated in pesticides. So you want to make sure we're minimizing the exposure as much as possible. Clean 15. So most things with the thick layer, you don't need to buy organic, because hopefully they're blocking out the pesticides that they're spraying over time. So we'll send you that too. Okay, so we get a lot of questions about supplements. How many of you guys take supplements? Okay, so is there anyone that doesn't believe in supplements? And some people have that mindset. Okay, so do you guys think the quality of our food is getting better over time, staying the same, getting worse? What do you guys think? Yeah. So what our parents say, what our grandparents say, they got the real deal. I don't even know what we're getting anymore. So even if you have the cleanest diet, Dr. Phil here is the cleanest eater I know. You'll check his urine and he's in keto all the time. That's wild, right? So even Dr. Phil has to supplement, because the food that we're eating is just not nutrient dense anymore. So that's why you need supplements. Where do people buy supplements from? Does anyone want to be brave again? Yeah, so I used to do the same thing. So the thing is, you want to pay attention to where your supplements are being sourced from, because a lot of things like at Costco, Walmart, whatever, it's synthetic. So it's made in a lab and then it's put into capsules. So then how bright is your urine when you're going to the washroom? It's like green or yellow because your body's excreting a lot of those toxins, right? It's not absorbing it. It's not identifying them as being like real vitamins and minerals. So then that's why it's excreted. So you're almost even better off not taking those types of supplements, like in certain cases. So you always say too, as far as supplements go, we want whole food supplements. That's what we want. So, so everything that I use, that anybody in our office, we use all our products here, Designs of Health, Maximize Living, because it's, you know, like the protein is grass-fed, it's real whole foods that are used to make the vitamins, minerals, whatever else we have in our office. And that's why you're paying a premium for it, right? So that's what it is. So top detoxifying nutrients. So there's a whole list. So what these essentially do is they bind to toxins at a molecular level and then pull them out of the body, right? So detoxifying is a two-step process. So you want toxins pulled out of cells, like especially fat cells, pulled out. Once it's circulating in the blood, you want it pulled out of the body, so excreted out of the body. So this is what you're doing when you're taking supplements like this. We have the similar mechanism. Protein, bone broth protein, it's really, really good because it helps repair the gut. So we know those toxins aren't leaking and getting out in the body circulating. And it also produces glutathione, which is one of the best antioxidants, natural antioxidants in our body. So for you guys, we are offering 15% off any of these products. So if you're interested, you can fill out the order forms, and we'd love to have you try this out and let us know what you think of it, because it's amazing stuff. Anything you want to add, Dr. Phil, about that? The supplements?
Yeah, if you take the greens and the protein together, here's mine.
Yeah.
It's a meal replacement.
And for me, like I always add berries, frozen berries in there, because sometimes the greens taste a little, like, Tessa, I don't know if you'll like it, so I'm just telling you, so add some frozen berries and it'll make it a lot sweeter. Like, I love it. People are like, when I'm like, try this, or like, I don't know about it, and I'm like, okay, I'll add berries. So we do have a specific formulation that we are creating with Signature Supplements. It's a liver and detox formula, so this is that two-step detox. So if you are interested in something more specific for the detox, we can always book a special appointment with you guys and go over things like your blood work, your food diary, and then we can give you more custom recommendations. Okay, so sweating. So who sweats when they work out? Okay, awesome. So studies have been done. Certain types of plastics, phthalates, BPs are found in sweat. So it's another great way to get those toxins out of your body. So we always want to do activities, exercise, which is usually high intensity metabolic training, to get that sweat coming out, increase that sweat production, so you're sweating out as many toxins as possible. And don't go home and go to sleep after a workout. Make sure you shower and get those toxins off of you, right? You want to make sure you're doing that too. So this is what we always talk about. I know some of you have been to our workouts before. High intensity, short duration, so those max T3 workouts. So, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, that's how we want to practice. It balances our hormones, it burns fat, it gets rid of toxins, plus. And it's not a conventional hour and a half workout. You could be done in 20 minutes, like who wants to work out for 2 hours anymore? Okay, check your home. So what do you guys use for cooking? What type of materials?
Stainless steel?
Yeah, perfect. Stainless steel is great. What else is good?
Ceramic.
Ceramic, yeah, ceramic's good. Anybody else? What's that?
Rock frying pan.
The rock.
The rock. So when I researched that, like I couldn't find much about what's actually in there.
Brands, the one brand is bad.
So I'm not sure about that specifically, because when I looked into it, most things with non-stick, like they have Teflon on them. So Teflon leaches into your food all day, anytime you're warming anything up, whatever. So you don't want that, because again, it's an endocrine disruptor. It's a cascade of effects. So the 3 rooms that we're going to talk about are the bathroom, kitchen, and laundry room, because they're full of toxins. So toxins in our bathroom. So cleaning products, you guys know, like I remember when I used to use Lysol or whatever it was, like I'd feel lightheaded. I'd clean the kitchen, and then I was like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna pass out, because think of all the toxins that are in there. It's wild. You look at the little hazard symbols, poisonous, corrosive, whatever, like those are some strong chemicals. cosmetics. So if you look at, I'm gonna show you a website that you can look at. A lot of cosmetics are laced with lead. So again, if that's being directly put onto your skin, 25% of what you put on your skin goes inside. Think of everything that's going on years and years and years, how much you're accumulating within your body, right? I don't know, some people might say it's worth it for the looks, but I don't know. I don't know. Shampoo and conditioner, so again, it's being penetrated into your skull, circulating in your body, pretty scary stuff. Dave's gonna talk about this, face wash, soap, and hairspray, it's all full of chemicals. And I basically want to bring awareness to all this for you, so you can go home and look at the products. When you're at the health food store, if you go shopping, look at the labels more so you can see what's in there, and look for things like free of parabens and free of SLS. Those are the types of things you want to look at. Read the labels. I hate to say this, but when you go to health food stores, you can't just trust that it's a good product. You know, some of it's laced with that too. So just read your labels. Ask a lot of questions. We're gonna email those to you. So we're gonna give you a bunch of recipes. Floor cleaner, bathroom cleaner, all this, and it's usually vinegar, water, and essential oils. So you can use that, and it kills things. It works, you know, amazing, and it smells great. Who doesn't want all that? Okay, so is anyone familiar with this website, EWG? Yeah, do you guys actually use it to look at products? So I just pulled something up. I just pulled up L'Oreal mascara. So you basically, you go to search and you search what the product is, and then it tells you the rating. So we want to be 1 or 2, right? That's the cleanest product. So least amount of, basically no toxins. And that's what Dave's line is, Skin Essence. It's amazing stuff.
We're number 1.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I should have put that up here, but I wanted to.
One thing just to add, the Environmental Working Group is a non-for-profit organization, so they're not lobbied. There are some organizations, for example, Skin Deep, and I'll just add to this real quick, but that as a company we have to pay to be a part of. So if we want favorable rating, if we want them to really dive deep and have a good, honest look at our products, then we're paying a premium to be there. So the good thing about this is we don't pay to be on there. In fact, many companies don't want to be on this website because it calls the kettle black, right? It calls them for what they are. So it's very unbiased, it's very uncontrolled by the corporations, and it's a not-for-profit in the United States that actually just tries to help people make better choices. So,
thanks for sharing that, that's awesome. Yeah, so you can see like this, you know, in the past 10, 15 years ago, I know I use this stuff. So, you know, look at what it has, moderate risk for cancer, high allergies and immunotoxicity. So that's pretty scary stuff. You can go online and search for products, but I hate to say it, most conventional types of makeup products, like they are gonna be loaded with toxins. So I don't know if you guys can scan this QR code from how far you are. We are gonna email this to you too, but this is where you can search for the products, okay? Okay, here's Dave's part. So Dave's gonna tell us about his amazing life. And I'm like one of the biggest advocates for Skin Essence. I love it. I've been using it for 8 years now. I remember when Dave did the demo, he was like, everything's so clean, it's edible. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So we tasted everything too. Anyhow, I always get compliments on my skin. I love it. I think it's really good, high quality, really, really high quality product. So I'm just gonna let Dave come up here and talk.
Awesome. Hey guys, thanks for coming out. So yeah, I don't think this talk is not meant to scare people. If anything, it's meant to make you ask questions to yourself and to make better choices. Because good health, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you make good choices, and you have to choose it day in and day out. And actually, it's interesting because as you make better choices, as you go to the grocery store and shop better, usually I would say shop the perimeter of the grocery store, because the package and processed stuff are along the aisles, the fresh fruits, lean meats, whole grains around the perimeter. And I know it can be overwhelming because you might look at it and go, it's expensive to make this choice, but you got to either pay for good health now, or you're going to pay for bad health financially and from a health perspective later as well, right? So it's important, right? And I always tell people, I'm like, you can't control everything, that you do and everything in your life. You can't control the air you breathe, but you can control what you put on your body, what you put in your body, and what you do, day in and day out. Even emotionally and mentally, that can help your health as well, right? So with just going back to when you're talking about the Environmental Working Group as well, a lot of people, to be like devil's advocate, a lot of people are like, well, they say it's good, or if it's on the shelf, there must be some sort of approval process. It's important to know that your personal care products come from a self-regulated industry. So the food industry does get regulated by Health Canada. I'm not saying they do a great job, but there is a level of regulation. With the cosmetic industry, it is self-regulated, meaning us as our own companies basically monitor it and make our own decisions on what's safe for the market. And then they take out based on how much liability they think they're taking on, how much liability insurance they take, basically. So for us, when you really read the ingredients to personal care products, and a lot of people, I'm sure, whether it be, face washes or moisturizers or exfoliants or sunscreens or shampoos, you all probably use it in your own way, I would imagine. And it's important to know that a lot of the chemicals that are in personal care products aren't there because they were tested and approved by Health Canada. Any new chemical needs to be approved, but after the Second World War, they actually grandfathered tens of thousands of them. So you were saying 10,000 in the food industry. I think it's about almost 60,000 in the personal care product industry, and it's because they realized that this chemical could do this and this one could do that, and it wasn't based on benefits for you. It was based on corporate bottom line. It was like, how can we mass produce stuff, give it a long shelf life, make it for as cheap as possible, and make a lot of money on it, right? Most skincare brands are based on the idea that they give a false sense of expectation with their promises to do with, whether it be anti-aging or fine lines or helping with rosacea. And it's important, like when you're shopping for the food that you buy in the grocery store, most people, I'm sure you guys now that are taking a lot of interest in your health, are probably reading the labels, right? And you're trying to make healthier choices. I know it can be overwhelming, I get it, I've gone through it, and I've got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old and a wife that I'm making sure that our house, doesn't have any negative stuff enter into it. But it's just really important to read the ingredients, not just to the personal care products, to the food that you eat, but also to your personal care products. Our whole line, we were started almost 26 years ago, so I was a customer for like 7 years before I became a partner in the line. And for me, it's most people, they start eating healthy, and then they start looking at other aspects of their life, like personal care and working out and other things. For me, I was actually, many years ago, I got started in the modeling and acting industry, and my skin honestly was awful. I was telling you earlier on your first year, I was in Osaka, Japan, and on a shoot, and I looked in the mirror, and I remember I was like 19 years old, and I remember thinking like how rough my skin looked and just how unhealthy I felt, even at such a young age. And I remember for myself, again, I'm not scripted, I'm just kind of coming up, just sharing whatever I feel it might be most appropriate to kind of help you guys, with this process of making health changes. But I remember thinking how awful I felt, and I made that promise to myself that I was going to age as gracefully as I could and take care of myself to give myself the best chance at health. And for some people it's difficult to like really put your foot down and make a strong decision, but for me, I can be stubborn in some ways. So I actually, ever since that day, I actually started just eating healthier, researching stuff, just holding myself accountable to decisions I was making. And at first it was really difficult, but it actually got really easy after you started knowing the automatic things to stay away from, like packaged processed fruit and synthetic ingredients and preservatives and things like that. So long story short, I got introduced to Skin Essence through the industry. I didn't know what a moisturizer or a cleanser was, over 20 years ago when I first started using the line. But when I started using the products, I noticed such an amazing difference on my skin. That it made me inquisitive and made me ask questions about, well, if organic products can make my skin actually look and feel the way that these do, then how would it be if I started eating healthier? So usually people go from having a healthy diet to then finding other things like personal care. I kind of went actually from personal care to like, oh my gosh, that actually works. Maybe I should start eating healthier as well. So Skin Essence, we're Canadian made, we're Skin Essence Organics, we're Canadian made. We're not just a natural baseline, we're actually certified organic, so meaning all of our ingredients, we don't use any, actually an interesting point is the best thing to grow a healthy plant in nature, just to give you a concept of our line, is sunlight, water, and air, right? You need sunlight, water, and air to grow a healthy plant. The best thing for a plant is actually the worst thing for an oil as soon as it's taken out of the plant, is sunlight, water, and air. So when you're shopping for personal care products, it's good to make sure that they're free from sunlight, water, and air. And what I mean by that is we bottle in amber glass, UV protection amber glass, so that not only are you not getting leaching from chemicals found in plastic like Dr. Mar was sharing, but you're also, glass is airtight, so it doesn't allow oxygen in, because sunlight will diminish nutritional value of a plant. oxygen causes oxidization, and water is not only just a cheap filler, but it also causes rancidity in a product. So if you're buying, for example, from a personal care perspective, a product that has a main or the main ingredient as water, not only are you buying something that is diluted, not concentrated, but it's made based on how cheap can we make it and how much can we sell it for, if that makes sense. And also water, like I mentioned, causes rancidity. So as soon as you see water, you know that they have to chase it with multiple preservatives, right? Because companies want to be able to mass produce and shelf products and warehouse them, whether it be Shoppers Drug Mart or Walmart's or on Amazon, and they don't want to consider shelf life. Now, with our brand,
Can you just go for another minute? We just have a lot to get through still.
oh yeah,
So,
sure. Yeah, so anyways, we were started 26 years ago. We're a certified organic skincare brand, and what we actually have today is our most expensive product is $35 at regular price, but we're doing 20% off everything. So everything's in that kind of $20-ish range. We are doing 20% off to support the event, and we are doing a gift with purchase as well, where you get some extra products to take home as well. So if you have any questions, I have a table set up after. So
Thanks so much,
yeah,
Dave. Thank
yeah,
you.
no worries.
I know Dave is so passionate about
Yeah.
it, so you want, and like, yeah, so what, I wanted.
Sorry, I didn't know how much
It's
time was
okay.
allowed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, we had allotted like 2 minutes, but it's okay. Okay, anyhow, so other areas of ingredients, so I just touched on this really quickly. You guys do have some samples today. So these are basically like breath mints from Catherine. So she's a registered dental, sorry, yeah, she's a hygienist, holistic hygienist. There's also gum in here, so these are, it's a good stuff, not the synthetic sugars. So she just sent this handout as well. We're gonna send this in the email, so we know fluoride is really bad. So if you look at this, excessive systemic exposure can lead to skeletal dental fluorosis, thyroid dysfunction, neurological problems. So you can cross the blood-brain barrier, so just be careful with that. Even kids' toothpaste has fluoride, so we just wanna watch that. So there are holistic dentists that we know as well, we can share that information with you. Toxins in your kitchen, so we've already touched on some of this, cleaners. Pots and pans we touched on briefly. Food, we talked about storage containers, so what do we wanna use to store our food? Glass, yeah, no plastic, because all that stuff is leaching, especially when you microwave it, warm it up, bad stuff. I wish you would just stop selling it.
Nobody microwaves here though.
What's that? Yeah.
We don't.
So yeah, that's. But usually when people are using plastic, they're microwaving. So we want to choose stainless steel, cast iron's great. I love cast iron, ceramic, and glass. We want to avoid non-stick, aluminum, Teflon, and copper because again, it's a lot of leaching of those bad ingredients.
Sorry, just a quick question. What if it has copper as a layer in
So
the sandwich?
that's. We can talk about that more specifically. Share information with me as to what you're using. Again, even if it's like a hybrid, we want to stay away from that as much as we can. Like if you can avoid it, then avoid it, right? Again, that's usually some non-stick, it's non-stick properties. Stay away from that. It's better using this stuff. Like cast iron is, if you're using like avocado oil and things like that to cook, it's pretty easy to use it. Things don't get sticky. It's have to be a little experience. So just you have to practice a little bit and it's fine. Toxins in your laundry room. So again, it's wild because when people have babies, they use baby detergent because you know how toxic the regular detergent is, but then they go back to, isn't that wild? So, like when I had my kids, when I had my kids, like I didn't have to switch my laundry detergent because I get the stuff that has the least amount of toxins. So 7th generation is great. I've used Method, although that's not as good, but it's still better than the conventional stuff. Stain remover bleach, again, it's loaded with toxins, right? So what we want to do is we want to clean air. So does anyone have air filters at home? So Dave talked about this too. I think air filters are great. So they're so easy to get now, readily available, Amazon, Costco, wherever you want to shop. Open windows. So we always want to open the windows because the air inside is 5 to 100 times more toxic versus outside. So try to get that fresh air flowing in. Today was a great day, we were able to do that. So we want to do all that good stuff. Certain plants are really good. So I didn't get time to research. Maybe some of you guys know, or Dr. Phil. Certain plants, what's that?
Safe plants.
Yeah, so certain plants are great for cleaning up the air. So, love for you guys to have plants. Okay, water. So does anybody have a whole home water filtration system yet? You guys have, yeah, awesome.
Well, no, sorry, no, it's just drinking water.
Yeah, in the past. So ideally, like I know when you moved into our house, like it has a system for the entire house, which is amazing. Like the previous owners really wanted that. it is expensive, like it costs thousands of dollars to install it, but think about all the water like your body's exposed to during the shower. You know, I think it's, the stat was like a 5 or 10 minute shower is equivalent to drinking 8 cups of water, tap water. So you just want to be careful because 75% of the toxins are repelled from the water by our skin, but 25% are absorbed. So you have to be really careful with that. This is a good brand for filters, so you can get it. You can put them on your sink. You can put them on the shower head. That's a really good brand, Aquasana. And then I threw this in here because what shows up in tap water? Trace elements of everything: chlorine, fluoride. It's full of toxins. There's also trace elements of what? Medications, right? Because again, high use of medication. And we're not saying, you know, don't take meds. I have a lot of respect for medical doctors. There's a time and place for medications. But you know, when someone gets the sniffles and they're having cold and sinus, I don't think that makes sense because it's not your body's, there's no deficiency for cold and sinus. You just have to believe in your body's ability to fight that infection, right? So again, everyone's urinating the antibiotics out of their system, the drugs out of their system, and that's coming through the tap water, right? So pretty scary stuff. So this is another thing. Who stresses out here? Yeah, everybody? Yeah. So we all want to stress less, guys, right? Because, and we know what stress does. When that cortisol stays high, it's another toxin, known toxin in the body. It throws off all the rest of the hormones, so your body's not functioning at its highest capacity. So you, again, being here today is you making this decision to move towards health. So good for you guys for doing that. You want to keep up with that peace management. So we already talked about that. Stress is a toxin. So, you know, just getting outside on a day like today, getting that fresh air is amazing. It's a detox on its own. Journaling, reading, quality time with the family. What is that? What else does that mean? Putting away what? Phones, devices. So like I feel like people would like, you know, and I'm guilty of it because like in case my kids need to get a hold of me or something, but like I put my phone on airplane mode overnight. I put it on airplane mode during the day all the time because I don't want those electromagnetic waves hitting my phone and being around my kids all the time. So you have to think of things like that, right? Because again, you're being bombarded with so many toxins. So being away from your phone is okay, you know? So especially the younger generation, guys, it's okay if you don't have your phone for an hour. So do a detox. It's really, really helpful. Even social media detoxes. So I don't know about you guys, but I get rid of social media for months. And then I'm like, I need to hold this person, then I go back on because that is also, I just find it's really negative. So there's been research done too. I forget the name of the author. He says the state of our mind basically represents the state of our body. So if we're in a growth state, which is love, joy, happiness, then our body reflects that. But on the other hand, if you're living in a state of anger, sadness, jealousy, whatever it is, our body reflects that. So if you're eating the best food, you have the least amount of toxins, but you're in that negative state, then it kind of defeats the purpose, right? So, okay, so last thing, saving the best for last. So step number 5 is keeping your spine aligned. So we just talked about this. What controls all the health and healing in your body? It's your nervous system. And like most of you have already been checked and understand this principle, but I just want to remind you of this. So again, health it's your ability to heal, which means 100% function. So if you're noticing warning, like I know a lot of you, when you know, some of you had general wellness checkups, which is amazing, and that's what we want to see more of, where people are being proactive about their health rather than reactive. So don't wait until you have symptoms. Come in and get a checkup because you don't know how your spine and nervous system is actually functioning. You want to be straight from the front, and you need 3 curves from the side. If over time you get misalignment in your spine, that's going to cause subluxation. So nerve pressure will build up in your spine. And again, that's not going to allow your body to build health. You're going to build disease. You won't be able to detoxify. So what ends up happening? You end up eventually having symptoms. So when you're having symptoms, it's been building for a while. So it's your body saying, wake up, pay attention now, do something about it. So this is what we always say. If you're already having these symptoms, always get your checkup. I love this quote. So while other professions are concerned with changing the environment to suit the weakened body, chiropractic is concerned with strengthening the body to suit the environment, which is amazing. Let's get stronger ourselves so we can handle all the toxins in our environment. This is a cute little picture I have for you guys, the before and after. So this is what I was saying, lifetime chiropractic care. This is exactly what we mean by it. So this is me, I have a belly because I was pregnant here, just so you guys know, it's not toxins in my uterus or anything like that. Right, so we truly believe in checking anybody and everybody. I forgot to ask you guys this, when are you first exposed to toxins? What do you guys think?
Before you're born.
Yeah, it's in utero, so when they look at fetal cord blood, how many toxins are found in it? Over 200. That's wild. So that's how you want to make these amazing choices. So I don't know if you know this, I've shared this story with a lot of you guys, but I did both my births at home, like both my babies were born at home. I did two natural wild home births, and the first thing I did is when I received them, I checked their spine. Because that's how important chiropractic, the principle is to me, right? Because whether it's vaginal delivery, C-section, the amount of pressure it puts on the baby's neck, you know, a doctor says 80% of babies are subluxated at birth, whether it's C-section or vaginal delivery. So that's how much we believe in the principle. So they've been adjusted since, you know, I've been getting adjusted, I don't know for how many years, 20 plus years. So they've been adjusted since you were conceived essentially. And I think that's amazing. And that's what we want for everyone. And that's not just specific to this area, we know chiropractors everywhere across Canada, the US. So if you want them to get in touch with somebody, you know, let's share that message. So we didn't get that testimonial video, but this is Will. Some of you guys have seen him at our office. So he came in really hopeless, and he's like, nothing's working, I don't know what to do. His friends have been coming into our office. Anyhow, we took this picture yesterday because he was able to walk without his cane after 2 years. Like, that's huge. And he just like has the biggest smile on his face, and you know, he was a little embarrassed. I asked to take a photo, but then he was sharing it with others, and I was like, this is amazing, this is what you want. So lifetime care, you know, that's why you're gonna age when you're getting adjusted, right? Your whole lifetime. I think that, yeah, so this is what we always say, you know, you guys have all had your checkups. If anyone hasn't, schedule your checkup, and then we wanna honor, you know, checking your families as well. So, you know, some of you guys have got your family checked, which is amazing. Some of you guys are under family care, which we love. For any of you that haven't had your family checked up yet, we either have you scheduled, or we'll give you the promotion where we're gonna comp the exam, so it'll be complimentary, because again, we're on a mission to check as many people as possible, because that's what we truly believe is healthcare. Okay, the other thing is just, I talked really fast, like I was like, this is gonna be a long night, but because I didn't even read once, I got through all the content. Just based on what you guys have heard, are you guys feeling, like, give me some feedback as to what you guys are feeling about the information that we've gone over. It's good, yeah, okay. So just based on what we've covered, who else do you think should know this stuff?
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody and anybody, and you know, wouldn't it be amazing if you go to any store and just pick something, you don't even have to think about it, because, you know, people are actually thinking about healthcare rather than let me read every single label. That's what we want to go towards, right? We want to create a community like that. So we do outreaches, we do talks at workplaces, we do events anywhere, because again, we want to share a message. So if that's something that you're interested in, we could always set that up. So you could just let Rebecca or myself or Dr. Phil know, and we would love to set that up for you. This is our next event, community dinner, so it'll be March 28th. Has anybody been to a Little Organic Kitchen? Yeah, it's some good food. Yeah, it's so good. I love eating there. So we're doing a community dinner, so we're gonna share some information about what health is, and we're asking that you bring a friend, someone that hasn't heard the principle before, or somebody you want to share the information with, so we can get them on board with our mission. Do you guys have any questions at this point? Has anybody done thermography at our office?
I've done it, not here.
Not here, okay. So you probably use like the same company, the one that we use?
It's through, no, yeah, I think it might be.
Okay, yeah, so she goes all across Toronto. She has like pop-up shops basically where they do thermography. So it's a non-invasive way to check the body for levels of inflammation. So rather than doing things like, you know, I don't know how many people I talked to today that are doing colonoscopies. Like, who wants to do it that way when they can do it this way? You know, rather than mammograms, do this, and it tells you the areas of inflammation. The only issue is you're paying out of your pocket, and unfortunately OHIP doesn't cover it. It's not mainstream at this point, but we do have certain spots. So there's 2 spots left for June 21st, and then there's some for September 27th. You can sign up for those. And this is our website. Have any of you guys actually been on our website? Check it out. Yeah, awesome. So we have a lot of resources. So people are always asking us, where do you have that? So if you look up here, you know, 5 fundamentals, we have a lot of resources there. There's our products if you look under shop, and then patient success stories. So a lot of amazing testimonials. And if you'd love to share yours with us, then we love when we have testimonials because it motivates other people. You know, it's one thing when we're saying it, but when you guys are sharing that message, it's amazing. Getting everybody else on board. Okay, does anybody have any questions at this point? Are you guys like feeling motivated or a little sad? Like, I want to make sure you guys don't feel, I want to make sure you have, like, you're not depressed, you go home and you're like, everything we're doing is wrong, you know, don't feel that way. It just, we want to bring this to your attention so you can make better choices, like Dave is saying, right? Make smarter choices going forward. And you're going to do that because now you have this knowledge. So learning all this and choosing not to do something about it is making a decision, right? Let's actually take those action steps. So what I like to do is when I go to a seminar or I attend anything, I always write 3 action steps I want to take in the next day, week, or month, and I make those happen. Otherwise, you know, who are you accountable to? Any questions anybody has?
How many people have been, is this their first event coming here? Okay, so just, Dr. Armour did her, when was the last Nutrition 101 you did?
I did that last year, probably a few
Okay,
months
but
ago.
it's recorded.
Yeah, we have
So
that.
if you need to get on that, all the resources like she said, so we walk you through this stuff. So if this is your first event, you might be feeling overwhelmed right now because there was a lot of information in a little bit of time. But like, you know, we were talking about with the nutrition, we explain this in detail, right? So everything we talked about, we have little mini, so when you go up to the website, you'll see in the resources section, so we did little talks, like 20-30 minutes on each segment that Dr. Armour talked about. We have done these little mini webinars on there, they're on the website. And I think if you just plug in, don't feel overwhelmed. I think this is an eye-opener for people who haven't seen it, but great job on this, because it's a lot of information and you've exposed them to the toxins that are out there, and people really know now, right? If they didn't know before.
Yeah.
Good job.
Anything?
And the only other thing I would say is the subluxation model. So the reason why she went over it so much, it may not be that clear, but if you have a blocked nerve that goes to your liver, you could do everything she said, avoid toxins, you could try to get rid of toxins with nutrition and all the other resources. But if your nerve doesn't tell your liver to detoxify, you're not detoxifying. So that's why she covered that so much. Like, it's so important. We see people with their blood tests pre and post adjustments, and you can see their liver enzymes are totally different after adjustments. If they have a deficiency of liver enzymes or whatever organ is involved based on where their problem is in their spine. It's kind of like your computer or your electrical panel. You go down the panel, if one of the fuses is tripped and if that wire goes to a certain spot, whatever's on the other side is not going to work properly, right?
Yeah.
So we see it day in and day out with people detoxifying, losing weight without doing anything
Yeah, and it's not like, you know,
different.
you get adjusted once and it's gone. It's that constant, you're
Yeah.
getting those subluxations all the time. Like even with me, I get adjusted at least once a week still, and I've been getting adjusted for over 20 years. So, you know, it's not like,
Yeah.
so that's why it is. It's always, we're evolving all the time, shifting all the time.
And we only have so many spots for the community dinner next week, and we're letting you guys first. So do we have the invitations for it?
They're on their seats in the end.
Yeah,
good.
so yeah, I totally forgot to mention that. You guys can sign up at the front, and then if you wanna fill out the product form as well, we can get you those supplements, get all that done for you at the front there. But yeah, we're always about getting, you know, in the past, Dave has talked, you know, done a talk with us where we had 300 people at the community church. Like that was an amazing talk. And that's what we want to move towards because everybody needs to know this stuff. So we, you know, if you're on board with us with our mission, we'd love to share it with as many people as possible. And again, that's anywhere and everywhere. We love to spread the word.
And if you want to
Honestly,
his
the
talk,
best.
it's on the info you're sending out tomorrow.
What's that?
His talk, you can go on the website and it's recorded.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That was a great
It's on
event.
our website.
Yeah,
Cool
it was
with
really
people
good.
sharing it. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really amazing in Shipropa, yeah.
Yeah.
So we like to get back to doing those events. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So it's super exciting stuff and it gets us all pumped up and that's why we put so much time towards these events. And then, you know, when I'm like, I'm away from my kids for 2 hours this evening, I'm like, I need to be here and share this information, so it's always worth it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Good job.